I know that you've brought up the issue of monetary compensation through media hoaxing and stuff like that. Let's talk about that. What do you think the biggest obstacle is in the discovery of trying to figure this thing out?
Are you referring to the television shows that fake evidence?
With that, whatever you think, yeah, of course. Let's go right there. We can move right into that.
Well, the
Perfect
other
segue.
thing, I mean, the probably the most difficult stumbling block you have is the inability to provide a duplicatable experiment to support the woo side of this thing. How do you do that? You know, I've said in the past that the best you can do is take, like, for example, take somebody like Sean into the forest where these paranormal things are happening, hope that one of them duplicates, which is exceedingly rare that they duplicate. It's almost always a different paranormal type event. Like, you can't seem to predict what's going to happen. It's almost the opposite of being able to duplicate somebody. It's like, it's almost impossible to get the same thing to happen twice.
Mm-hmm.
But you take a person in and they have a personal experience, and you know, maybe that gets them thinking down a different line. Or if you're a really hardcore skeptic, you go in there and it doesn't matter what you see, you're still going to interpret it in a format of the worldview that you've been, you know, that you had established, right? So you've got this pre-established filter in place, which, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to say that's a bad thing, because I'd rather have people thinking logically and sanely than a bunch of wackadoodles that are believing any kind of nonsense. So,
true.
Like, I'm a big supporter of the skeptics. I don't know how to get the two together. I don't know how you can turn around.
That's true. It's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because the problem is you like we talked about before, is you've got certain people are way too far in where everything is Bigfoot, and those are the apers or the habituators. And
we've also got professional skeptics that, as you said, they get monetary compensation for saying that everything is not a Sasquatch. And then, of course, you got people, you know, like Thinker Thunker's one of them, that everything's a Sasquatch, right? You got a fellow buncher pushing trees over, and in his mind, he'll make this argument that it's a Sasquatch because he's getting monetary compensation to say that that's a Sasquatch. The people on these TV shows are not getting paid to say it's not a Sasquatch. They're not on the show if they say it's not a Sasquatch.
Well, that's what frustrates me about Dr. Meldrum. It seems like he's got a bad agent, or the editing. It seems like he gets played a lot, or it seems like he comes out on the short end of the stick.
He's such a nice guy too.
I've never met him, but I've heard nothing but.
I haven't met him in person, but I've corresponded with him. He's very, you know, polite and considerate, and he puts himself out there. And I mean, he takes a lot of flack, but you know, he's probably got bills to pay like everybody else, and I mean, and he's in a certain position. People offer him money. Like, I don't know what his decision making is. I don't know whether he's been caught in a couple things. Remember that cave over in China where they faked the tracks?
Yes, that. And then, you know, there's been some stuff where it's like, what is he like when he was on? I don't know why he ended up on the Todd Stanley documentary. You know, it's like, what did Todd Stanley have on him that he showed up on? Poor him and Dr. Bindernegger were on his thing on his documentary, and it's, what are you doing on this documentary? You know, and then
Todd Stanley's an interesting character, though. I know Todd Stanley has hung out with people that, in my mind, are having experiences with Sasquatch. So
he seems very high-spirited.
What's
Todd
that?
Todd Stanley seems very high-spirited, like a hummingbird.
Produces a hell of a movie, man. Those are very watchable movies that he's making.
You got to give him credit, though. I mean, as much I would love to have him on the show, but it seems like he gets out there. I mean, he gets way out there, and I know I'm not talking to a pussy here. You've been out and you did the